It's early summer. Finally got a day over 30 degrees. It's been a long time in Melbourne. I'm down at Point in the Pan. I'm walking up to Cape Shank. So yeah, walking 30 k's or 30 something k's along the coast to Cape Shank. Sam's just dropped me off. It's just after 8, going to be 30. Hopefully, they say tomorrow's going to be 33, so it's going to be a nice weekend. Gee, it's been a long time since we've had a nice weekend in Melbourne. So we'll see how today's going to be. Rich and rewarding day, I guess. We'll see how it all goes. Catch you later. Well, first of all, we're heading along this section of track I've never walked from Point in the Pan to Portsea. I think it's going to be through coastal scrub, but you never know, there might be something to see. See you later. Alright, so I've never walked this track. If you don't want to pause that, the gist of it is this track's called the Wilson's Folly track. Folly. Back in the day when they were using this as an army training ground, certain, can't remember his first name, Wilson, lit a fire here to clear the tea tree, and the fire escaped into the Portsea Golf Club, and this became known as the Wilson's Folly area. I've never walked this section of track before, which is why I started this today at Point in the Pan car park instead of over at Portsea. So I might as well have a look at this. Yeah. That'd put a dampener on your Saturday morning standing on one of those, wouldn't it? Luckily we're going this way. Towards London Bridge. Alright, so I've hit the coast nice and early. That's London Bridge down there. The land down there is part of Point in the Pan National Park. Where I'm standing is Mornington Peninsula National Park. You can't legally walk along the coast from here into Point in the Pan because of unexploded bombs. There's still some defence land in there. I've hit the coast, I've hit the back beach pretty well on high tide. Now there's a reason for that, because I'm going to be on the cliff tops for the next 4 or 5 hours, but the last 4 or 5 hours I'm going to be on the beach, so I want to cop a low tide once I'm down near the beach. Make things a lot easier. The negative about it means I'll be walking into the sun this morning for a few hours, but no, shit happens. Let's deal with it. Yeah, what a beautiful day. So the hardest navigation on this walk today will be when I pass through the car parks for the different beaches, and I go past, picking up the continuation of the track. Sometimes you've got to search around a little bit, it's not always obvious. Now, for people who don't know our state of Victoria too well, I'm passing through first of all Portsea Back Beach area, and then the Sorrento Back Beach area. In Portsea and Sorrento, two of the most affluent areas of Victoria. Actually, that might be affluent, but you know what I mean. So I've gone formal on this walk. I've gone for my formal wear on top. Hang on, I'll swing the camera around if I can. So we've got the formal white shirt on. That gets into frame. Oh, we are ferrule down below though. So I have got ferrule bottom deck. I've got to keep up appearances in these areas. Actually, I'm hoping the white shirt bounces a few UV rays off me this afternoon when I'm on the beach for 4 or 5 hours in the heat. But I won't let that get in the way of a good story. So I'm now following Farnsworth track. I'll be following that for a little while over to the Portsea beach, and then we'll see where we go from there. There's going to be a few of these views today. And there's the, if you can hear me over the wind, there's the Portsea golf course that our old mate Captain Wilson tried to burn down back in the day. That's the front beach over there, the Portsea front beach. And obviously, this is the back beach that I'm walking along. Alright, I'm about to hit the coast, hit the beach for a little while. This is the only section I'm going to have to walk at really high tide. It's only maybe a kilometre or so. Looks like the Portsea lifesavers are down there doing a bit of circle work in their quads. No Hiluxes here, I'll tell you that. So that's the Portsea Lifesaving Club there. And that's that. There's an unusual sighting in the wild. So those footsteps of the rarely seen feral sloth. 2 big feet and 2 little feet on the outside. Very strange. I'm walking along this bloody beach until I meet that outcrop down there. I'm not a big fan of walking these beaches at high tide, but it's only short, and then I'll be up the top for quite a few hours. So the payoff will be this afternoon when I get the 12k of beach at low tide. These rocks should mean that I'm getting close to the end of the beach walk for a little while. Well, I'm off the beach now for a while. Try and keep the horizon fairly level. Had to pick it up on the GoPro. On the top of that hill, sand dune, half a k away, is a rotunda. Below that is Coppins. I think it's Coppins Beach or something along those lines. A little cafe there. I might try and get some brekkie. We'll see how we go. That's the Sorrento at beach. It's looking nice. So the sun's far from ideal, but that is Sorrento over there. It's the main street. I'm almost looking along it. Sorrento Cemetery in the foreground. Looks like one of those big, you probably have to pick it up on the GoPro. There's one of the big princess boats cruising out of the Port Phillip Bay. There's a little bit of sea mist around this morning. It's slowly starting to clear, but it's knocking the edge off the visibility a bit. I think I mentioned, but it's going to be 30 today and in the 30s tomorrow. First weekend we've had like this since last year, so it's nice. I was hoping that the green roof building there was going to be open for brekkie. They do a lot of weddings there. It looks like, judging by the flowers, they're setting up for a wedding today. I think one of my friends at work actually got married there. Anyway, no brekkie for me. I'll be getting by on protein bars today. So this particular piece of track that I'm on now is called Coppins Track. I've just made the short side trip out to a spot called Jubilee Point. That's where I'm heading down there. Way down there. So one little sidetrack called the Bay of Islands sidetrack, which itself is off another sidetrack called the Mount St Paul's Lookout track. So I'm certainly going to rack up the coast today doing all these sidetracks, but it's such a nice day. I got all day. I think it's worth it. Not sure if there's any divers stumbling upon this vlog, but diving along this side of the peninsula is amazing. This is the Bay of Islands. Alright, we're up on Mount St Paul, I kid you not. That's where I've come from this morning. And that's where I'm going. And that smudge you probably can't even make out in the far, far distance is where I'm going to finish up. See a little bit of Arthur's Seat. It's getting a bit closer over there now. Still a bloody long way away though. So I'll pass Cunha Beach, I think it is. I'm on the life-saving, what they call the life-saving track now. I'm heading towards, I think it's 16th Beach. Don't quote me on that, there might be something else. I'm just in the side of the dunes on the suburban side, still in the national park, still in Mornington Peninsula National Park, but haven't got much in the way of coastal views at the moment, but they'll come back soon enough. It looks like it's around, I think it's around 11:30, so I'm going okay. I'm about 11 k's into it now, I think. These grass seeds I don't like, but anyway. This little point is called Spray Point, I think. This will be something to do with that, those waves. I don't know if it's sitting over there, breaking into that shelf. Oh, I'm so much looking forward to a swim. I don't know if it's picking up on the GoPro, but that's sensational. Actually heading for Bridgewater Bay now. This shade's welcome. It's the middle of the day now, it's about 12. I'm about 13 k's in, I guess. I've got a bit to go yet, so the shade is welcome. So this is Bridgewater Bay. Down the far end of the bay, big cliff diving pool. I don't know if you can see it on the GoPro. Hoping someone's about to jump off, hopefully. Maybe not. Now, the track used to run along here, but it looks like it's been closed. So I'm going to have to backtrack a bit. Unfortunately, had another kilometre of the day's walk. Well, lunch has just been had, about 15 k's in. It's getting a bit warm. I didn't get any shade for lunch, but I did get a nice bench, which always makes it good. And I've got a reasonable view. I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, you ignore the trekking pole. How nice is that? I can just make out the Cave Shank Lighthouse. Probably won't see it in the GoPro, but that's the end of the walk. A few hours to go yet though. And that's 16th beach. So the next one, I'm thinking is St Andrews. And then after that is the big one, Gunnamatta. I'm down at beach level now. Just trying to work out how I'm going to get around this headland. I can see a track up there, but I can't see any reasonable way up onto those dunes. So at the moment I'm thinking I might try and rock hop around the headland at water level, unless I see a better option. That's not a bad little detour. Still meant to be up on those headlands, but with the tide pretty low, it's okay walking along here. Some nice rock pools too. Well, I'm well into the beach march section. I forgot about Rye Beach. A few fishermen out here. This is I don't know if I'll be eating the fish. That little black thing. Black looks like a reef sticking out into the ocean there. That's Melbourne's, southeastern Melbourne's effluent, heading out, treated effluent, heading out into Bass Strait. So I don't know about eating that fish here. Yeah, so this is Bogues Rocks, or Bogs Rocks, as some people call it. I think the sewage is treated pretty well nowadays, and probably it should be recycling into our drinking water. So people are still a bit gun shy about drinking that. By the way, there's my markers. I've been following today. Alright, the next big beach is Gunnamatta, and that's the last of the big beaches. Still got a fair while to go though. I've just ticked over probably 26 k's, I'm thinking. Alright, I'm on Gunnamatta. This is the last of the big ones. It's also the last shot I've got to fill up my water bottles at the Lifesaving Club, so I might just drop up and check it out. You never know your luck, they might even have a cold drink. The GoPro's picking up the lighthouse over there. So 1 inattentive moment later, no more dry shoes. Oh well, I was thinking about a swim in a minute anyway. Alright, past all the people. So, I think time for a swim. Okay, swimming in Bass Strait in early December is a bit chilly. Managed to find a spot. It's not too bad. Gotta be careful this doesn't stray to OnlyFans territory. Oh. Yeah. That's the worst of it. Oh, it's nice for the legs. Alright, that might do me. Alright, back on the trail again. So this is the end of Gunnermatta up here. I've got a choice. I can stay low and head down towards Fingal, which is a better route, or I can hook up into the dunes. The tide's on the way in. Problem with the Fingal route, you can't get around at high tide. I think it's worth a shot though. Besides, I've got my rock hopping shoes on now, so I should be right if I get a bit wet. Back in the shoes. These rocks are a little bit too harsh even for my feet. Just ticked over 30 k's for the day. So I reckon it's going to be a pretty big day. Going to be probably 34 k's, 33 k's. Maybe shall see. Maybe I should have gone swimming here. Looks a bit calmer. Glad I wasn't on the beach when that one rolled down. So this is Fingal Beach. This is my last beach of the day. I'm going to go up those steps and climb a lot. Good swimming here in the rock pools at low tide, but they're covered at the moment. But this, at low tide, there's a shelf that goes quite a way out, maybe 100 metres out. Lots of rock pools, good snorkeling. Looks a bit wild at the moment though. Looks like the back of the place. Well, I'm probably halfway. I'm a bit optimistic. I'm a glass half full kind of guy. I'm probably halfway up the climb. But still it goes on and on and on. Just what we need at the end of a 30k day on a 30-degree day. That's the inland track coming back in. I've come from down there. I don't know if you can see the sign. It says low tide only. It's looking back into the sun. The good news is most of the climbing's finished now. I just got to walk along the tops of these cliffs. It's fairly undulating, but nothing huge. And I'll be back at the ute, cranking up the aircon. Looking forward to a shower when I get home and a cold drink at a servo on the way. Alright, heading out onto Cape Shank now. Just got to make it to the lighthouse. It's been a good day, but it's been a big day. The shade's appreciated. That's where I've walked from, disappearing into the haze. A long day. Now this is the last of the lookouts. Looking back down the peninsula. Next time I turn the GoPro on, I'll probably be near Cape Shank, the lighthouse I think. Wow, here we are, Cape Shank. What a day, what an awesome day. I suppose I better touch the lighthouse. Let's go and check out this eastern lookout. That's the Cape Shank. That is Cape Shank. Can't talk, I'm too tired. nice straight. Like a good lighthouse. You can see the moon up there beside it. These are the old lighthouse keepers' quarters. That one's a museum by the look of it. I know you can stay in some of these. Maybe there's the one over there. That one over there looks like it's a kiosk. Well, it says kiosk on it anyway. Looking forward to a cold drink. Have to wait a bit longer though, it's well and truly closed. Okay, that's the end of a big day. All trail says 35 k's, a little bit over, and about 580 metres climbing. You'll need a 2 cars to do this walk. You do a car shuffle. And the other thing you need to know is some of the tracks, there's a long section, the Gunnamatta end of it, there's a long section on beaches. So you want to get it at low tide around the Gunnamatta Raya. And some of the tracks are a little bit soft, even inland tracks, so be aware of that. Alright, catch you next time. I'll put the details at the end.